Hey y'all, we're back with another reaction, and the reaction is coming from a beautiful family of Sonya Massey'S. They're going to speak out about the Sean Grayson conviction. Uh, they made comments of things that need to happen and should have happened, and it didn't happen. But hope y'all enjoyed the video. Like, share, and subscribe. And we'll be back at the end, by the end of the video, okay?
I think the first question most people have, because you all have been on the case, a part of the family, you're the father of Sonya Massey. How are you feeling about the verdict? And I'll start with you, Mr. Wilbur.
I think that we were looking for full justice. We only got partial justice. But that's because it was what was allowed by the Illinois law. I think that the Sangamon County attorney, John Milheiser and Mary Beth Rogers, they did a yeoman's job of carrying the weight of this massive injustice that was done to my child. And they did all they could. And I'm thankful for what they did.
Teresa, you mentioned outside that this wasn't necessarily justice.
It was just us. I was devastated. I was very disappointed. As a black woman with a black child and a black granddaughter, Sonya's like a daughter to me. And I thought about Sonya, and I thought of all the women who've gone before her. Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, and the list goes on and on. No justice, no peace. I have no peace behind this verdict. It was totally unfair. Hell, a blind man could have saw this. It should have been first degree murder. They should have thrown the book at him, and they did not. There was not a jury of our peers.
Sante, you referred to Sonya as a sister. I know that was your cousin. But how are you feeling right now?
I'm devastated. I had to watch Sonya's daughter, Summer. She became inconsolable. I have to watch my mother, my aunt Donna. They're devastated, and I'm devastated for them. I just think that we have a long couple of days ahead of us.
I want to ask you all something. Do you all think it was partial justice during the trial? Do you think it's because we didn't see the trial? So he did get second degree. But do y'all think he should have got first degree? I just want to hear from y'all. Not just from me all the time. I need to hear from y'all point of view. Do you all think that he should have got first degree? Do you think second degree was a okay punishment? What happened? Drop it down in the comment section, okay? Thank you.
The Grayson family, what do you say to them? They were in the courtroom. You all obviously made eye contact at times. What's your message to them?
I feel sorry for them. The mother came over and apologized, and she said we did not raise him that way, and I'm really sorry for your family. My heart goes out to them. We lost Sonya, but they lost a son, and what he did for Sonya, he has to pay, and they realize that.
You say Grayson's mother came up to you during the trial.
During the trial, and apologized not only to me, but to the entire family, especially Sonya's mother.
Wow. What was that like? That's not something I would imagine we're expecting.
We did not expect it, but we had been with this family on the other side, watching us, looking at us for months after months after months, and they would mumble, "I'm so sorry." But to actually come over touch us and tell us that they were sorry. There was one point that we didn't think we were going to be able to get in the courtroom. It didn't look like I was going to get in. And guess what? Grayson's mom said, you can come in on our list. Because
Wow, that's a blessing.
over there. But because she felt sorry for the family and they wanted to offer some types of condolences.
Knowing how divided
Now, y'all,
this case has been for so many people, is there anything to
that was so beautiful. Sean Grayson, mother, gave her a leeway to come in the courtroom because it was packed. She couldn't get in. So Grayson's mother was so sweet. And you know what? It's the hard part about this is you can have good parents, but when the kids make a mistake, and he's not a kid, he's a grown man. Sean is. He's grown, fully grown. But that's still his mother. Didn't raise her son to be like that. And you be wondering what happened to your child when they grown, like that. What happened? That was so sweet of her to let that lady right there, Sonya Massey, a relative, friend of the family, in the courtroom to sit on her side. That was so sweet. That was sweet. That was very sweet.
be gained. Just the fact that they're human as well. And we raise our children, but we don't know how they're going to turn out.
Right.
And this is the worst case example of how a child can turn out. A monster is what he is.
I have to speak with Summer and Malachi, Sonya's children, and I have to explain to them that, there are hiccups in the justice system, but what we need to do, and what we in particular aim to do, is deconstruct what we can deconstruct and rebuild a new justice system. We have to, or else things like this are going to keep on happening.
By that, do you mean changing the law? Because I know you all spoke at the news conference.
I think I always spoke on that, y'all, that the law needs to change. This law needs to change. The law just can't stay the same to me. Not over the centuries. Because some things in the excuse me, y'all. Something in the law needs to change. Not just only for Sonya case, for the nation, for the United States, period. The law needs to change. Need to sit down. The lawmakers need to sit down and look into the law. Because whoever made the law that way for a certain reason. And that's what it's doing. The law that they created failing us. Think about it. My opinion.
About something in between first-degree murder and second-degree murder that you feel may have felt a little bit more weighted, a little bit more fair, and possibly easier for a jury to discern the facts of the case. And I'll let you speak on that, but you talked about it at the time.
I think that because Illinois has been the leader in passing the Sonya Massey bill, that bill says that this job counties, cities do, they take a person who's already certified and they allow them to resign rather than fire them so that they can get a job in the next police department and the next police department. I think that those departments that allowed a person who was kicked out of the military, he was had 2 DWIs. Here's a man who never should have had a badge and a gun. He never should have been able to lord over any citizen in this United States. And he did exactly what he said he would do. He told my child he would shoot her in the effing face. And he did it. And all we got was a second-degree murder conviction out of this. There has to be some middle point between first degree and second degree. I think this was a compromise verdict. And people were saying, well, you got something. But we didn't get complete justice.
said that Sonya escalated the situation. The defense said that the pot of boiling water she had was a threat and justified Grayson's actions. As her father, what was that like for you, listening to someone say that your daughter escalated the situation?
I knew that there were going to be all kind of lies, and I thought that I had prepared myself for those lies. I think the defense here did a job in muddying up the waters, and they threw enough lies and supposed made up reasonable doubt. They threw things against the wall to see if they would stick, and I think that caused enough of some consternation in that jury room that they settled on this compromise verdict. But we don't feel that we got justice here. You know, I said that we're in the home of Richard Pryor, and Richard Pryor said years ago that when we go into the court system, we come out not justice, but just us.
Mm.
How fitting is it that we're in Peoria?
What is your overall message to people who feel as though justice to some extent was served with this verdict? What is your message?
Let me start. Justice, it felt like it was just us in the courtroom. When the verdict was read, again, I was devastated. I was so disappointed. Sonya's daughter grabbed me and just started shaking and said, "What does that mean? What does that mean?" And I said, "Baby girl, we'll talk about it later." Because people called me on the phone and said, "Congratulations." And I said, "Congratulations for what? A young black woman is dead. Her children are still suffering, and they're going to be suffering even more because justice was not served. And we want full justice. So that means that we'll have to continue the fight and fight even harder to change the laws in America."
I think that people in rural are hurt. I know where I live in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, I felt like Sonya was all of our child. As I walk through my city and my hometown and my county, there is this hurt, and it's like the elephant in the room. Nobody knows how to bring it up and how to talk to me about it.
I have a bias. You know, Sonya was my little sister. I've